Hello guys, this is Lishajoya Haven. Well, this is like my alt. Actually, it's not like my alt. This is really my alt. I wanted to do a quick tutorial for SL in regards to how to build. I'm on Firestorm release version 4.3.1.31155. And as you can see from the top of my screen right here, that this is Lishajoya Haven alt. Hence my tag, Lishajoya Haven alt. Ta-da! On this viewer mesh, but for some reason on a regular Phoenix viewer I cannot see mesh. In fact, I crash like within like a couple of seconds of unloading. So at the moment I'm on my alt because it's got like 4,000 in my inventory. Versus my main account, which is Lishajoya Haven, with the last name of Haven. She's got over 180,000 in her inventory, and believe me, it was worse until I cleaned it up. I am recording this Second Life video with a program called Cam Studio version 2.56. I'm not really looking at it at the moment, but you will see. Okay, at the bottom you got conversations, walk, run, fly, people, snapshot, build, search, minimap, map, and inventory. If you are already familiar with how to navigate and stuff, but you've never really built before, then this will be the video for you. I'm going to go over something very, very simple. I'm not going to go all crazy until the next tutorial. First things first, you need to learn how to res a box. So you need to make sure you have res rights at the place you're at, and or go to a sandbox. And if you guys would like to know personal places that I like going to that are not my own lands to build, then I will go ahead and give you those landmarks if you request it to me when I'm on my main account, Lishajoya Haven. I'll include that in with the description of this video. Alright, at the bottom, since my land and I'm also part of my own group, you click this bottom button down here called the build button. You click it and then this menu pops up. Okay, you got a box, triangle, prism, all these ones. Some of these do not work because some of them require special land permissions for you to be able to do them. Personally, I'm going to go default on you with the box with the cube, and I click it, and then boom. And then you see this box that's down here. The default size is 0.5, 0.5, 0.5 meters. They always go by meters, not by feet in this game. So it's all relative. And the default texture for boxes is this wood texture. I personally like it. So just gonna let you know, I personally love it. It's like one of my favorite textures, though it's so simple. Alrighty. Here you have the object. I clicked on my screen here and I click on object. I'm going to call it tutorial box. Right? And then you can make a description if you want, but you don't really need to. This is the general tab. This is like basic description of the item, like the creator, AD Lisha Haven. Also, this is my legacy name right here afterward in parentheses, Lishajoya Haven alt. And because my last name is resident, they don't include the resident in the last name. And then the owner, because I own it, is mine. And the last owner, right now it won't have a last owner because I'm creating it. It's my own. You can always select it if you like, but it's not really necessary at the moment. Then it always puts the group here as well. See, my tag says Lisha's family. Well, the group that's associated with that is Lisha's awesome family. And yes, I have an amazing family. Alrighty? You could choose to share this or delete it. I don't recommend any of those things. When it says click to, you have a click, sit on object, buy object, pay object, open, and zoom. I would just keep it default because we're just learning to touch. Okay? You can set the other ones. Say for example you want to, buy or sell this box. You can make it, you can click buy box. Oh, Phillies. I'll explain. Okay, you have to click the for sale sign first here. Then buy object, and then you can set I want it for billion lindens. There we go. Something like that. And then while you're building or you have it highlighted, you see these RGB colors, these directional arrows, the red, the green, and the red. Those are your movement tools. And as you can see, the red's going to move forward and backwards in this direction. And if you see this, the red line that's here, that's like your ruler where it's generally going to be in its center. And then this green one here and on this side here. And then that's the middle of the cube or the middle of the object itself. Same with the blue. The blue will be up and down. See how it's still, you see the line, the blue line here? And then green, of course, you're moving forward and back, and then the red in this direction. So it's all three-dimensional. Alright, I'm going to put it back on the ground so you guys can see it. And you see my little fancy smancy particles coming from my hand. That's just showing that I am editing an object, and you could change those in your preferences, and maybe someday I'll show you how to do that. But for right now, we are focusing on how to res a box and do something very, very simple with you guys. Alrighty, I don't want to set this for sale really, so I'm going to click the off sale button, and when it does that, it automatically defaults back to the touch default. Alright, I'm going to clear this out back to the default of 10. Okay. Now, here is your permissions for this box. So say, for example, you want to sell the box. Well, this is your permissions. Okay, this is what you want to have anybody do to your object while it's rezzed in world. But if you want to sell this thing called next owner, there's a modify, a copy, and a transfer. Okay, when it's ghosted, it means it's not going to do it or unchecked. Say for example, I want to sell a copy, but I don't want someone else to transfer to anybody else because it's a gift. And you click it. Say for example, you want to make it full perm. You click modify, copy, and transfer. Let's say for example, you want to let people modify it and copy it, so if they modify a hair you make or a shirt, change the color per se, but you don't want them transferring it, that means they could sell it or give it away, your own creation. So naturally you unclick the transfer because you don't want anybody else transferring your item to anybody else and they can actually sell your item and then you lose out on the lindens. So, but for now I'm clicking all of them off and it automatically defaults to this ghosted transfer. Okay. Now let's move to the next dialog box in this section. Here we are in general, correct? Now let's go to objects. Alright, you see a locked, physical, temporary, phantom. Then you see XYZ values of the position. This is where it is in world. Okay, I'll go over that in a moment. Then the size. This is the actual size of it in 3 dimensions right here. And then the rotation in degrees. Not by size, okay? Then here is the actual features of it, general features of it, like if it's a box, if it's been prism, if it's cylinder. I'll just go over them with you. This is the default, the box. Remember how we were back and we made this into a box? Well, say for example, I want to convert this to a cylinder. Look, it went to a cylinder. I like that, so I'm going back to box. Let's say, I want to build something else. I want to build, and I made a mistake. Well, here's a prism. You can make a lot of things with these things. Then you go to sphere, torus, tube, ring, and sculpted. Sculpted, we'll go over that later. See how it path cutted that? Well, technically I messed up, and I intentionally did that. Okay? If you do that, okay, click this box and click the X button. And see how you're editing XYZ values, the arrows are not there any longer? You messed up, right? Not a big deal. Right click. And its automatic default is that object. So you go to your inventory, you can go to recent and go to your objects folder. And since this likes to take forever on me, I apologize. Tutorial box. That's what I named it. Well, since I don't want a million things in my inventory, because I've learned from my main account, you don't need a million things called object if they're the exact same thing. So you right click on it, scroll all the way down here to delete, and delete. And then delete selective items, say yes, say OK. Alright, get out of your inventory. And then you click build again. I want the box again because I love my boxes. They're my favorite. Alright, now we have this box here, and click on it, and you still see the X, the Y, and the Z factors. Okay, let's go back to the object tab here. And I'm going to move this box and change my camera angle real quick, so give me a moment. And then I'm going to move the box closer to me, just to show you, and then fix my camera angle again. Alright, my little cute little blonde Abby. Too bad in real life I'm too chicken to cut my hair and dye my hair like, because my hair in real life is extremely long. Alrighty, now look at the top. It says Isle of Calypso 103, 132, 1001. These are the X, the Y, and the Z factors. And you can also see this here, the exact ones. Okay? And since naturally I'm at 1,000 meters and this cube is 0.5 meters, the Z is the height. Okay? The Y is like on any axis plane, you see X and Y and Z. But now we have a third value, a 3D value called Z. Z is for Z. Okay? Now this is the position, by the way. So you have X. This is exactly where it is. And if I move it, it moves. The X and the Y and the Z, they change. They change their value. See, X is 104.9512 and the Y is 131.4594, and I move it, and then all of that had changed. You can manually change these if you want, if you pretty much know where everything is that you need in World. But I would highly recommend it, manually moving it forward and backwards as you see you need to. Anyways, the Z here, the size here, X, Y, and Z, is the actual size of the prim. And every single one of these is a prim. And a lot of the stuff I built here in World. Okay, that's the size of it. You can change it at any time, but I'm just showing you some basic stuff. Rotation is like if you rotated it. It moved it around. Alrighty. Now we're going to go to the next tab, the Features tab. The Features tab, you have Edit Object Features. Flexible path, it makes it so it moves. Okay, and then the light, as if you want to turn it into a light, or if you want to turn it into a face light, or anything you wanted to make. Okay, I'll show you the light. And then you can do the intensity is always at 1. The fall off is like where the light dims at per se, and then the radius is how big you want this light to reach your objects. I would highly be very careful about not making your radius too big, because you can cause things to lag, and if you make it too bright you can make it crash. Okay, I'm going to take the light off, so I'm going to show you something. I'm going to change my settings to night, and you can see what I mean. And then you can do the radius. I'm going to increase the radius. Actually, I'll manually increase the radius to 20. And you see this big huge light bounding here. Okay, I'm going to change it back to 10 because I don't want to lag. And now I'm taking my my world settings again, and I'm going to place it back to midday. And I'm going to unclick the light and then go to flexible path. See how it goes to these XYZ factors on here, on the arrows here, the movement arrows here, they are? Well, I just made it flexible. See, look what I did. Oh, now it's flexible. It looks like jello, like a wooden jello block. It's kind of cute, right? Well, say for example, you can mess with the softness, the gravity, the drag, the wind. Now I'll show you wind. Wind's my favorite. It's like when you just have it just sitting there, it's like the world's wind. Though you can't see it, your world has wind in it. And see how it manually moves? I'll move it again and watch. It would automatically move like normal if you didn't have a wind. But depending on the day, it will change how fast this thing moves with the wind. Kind of like a flag in the wind, and so on and so forth. I'm going to change the wind back down to 0 again. And then you have the tension, the force, the X, the Y, and the Z. I play around with these when making hairs, tails, when I make clothes, and I make all kinds of stuff. But I don't want this to be a jello block anymore, so now I'm going to change the flexible path off, and it will be a stiff again. See, it changed? I'll click it again. I'm clicking flexible path again, and then watch my little jello block again. Now take the flexible path off, and it becomes a stiff piece, a stiff block again. Ta-da! We'll talk about these types of features in a moment. The prim shape, okay, and the wood. You can change it to metal, the type of properties that it is. Like, say for example, you make it so it could drop. Well, if it drops, it will act as its behavior as stone, metal, glass, wood, flesh, plastic, rubber. And rubber is my favorite one to play around with because I make little bouncy balls for my girls. Anyways, I'm placing this back to wood because, in my opinion, textures apply best to this. Okay. Now let's go to Texture tab here. See this texture? This will change. If you drag a texture into here, it would change the texture of the entire face, all the faces of your item. That could be a good thing and a bad thing. The good thing is if you want it to be all one color or one shape or one texture. But say for example you're making a store sign. Well, you only want it on the outside. You don't want it on the top and on the bottom. And then you can change the color. Okay, I'm going to move this so you can see. You can change it to red. Click OK. And now you've got a red box. Okay, and now I'm going to go and try to do orange. Now it's orange. But if you apply a texture to that, the texture will also get colored. So it's coloring the entire prim, pretty much. So if you have different textures on it, then you might have to apply a new prim. I don't recommend that, but here we go to green, and you can see green. But I'm going to go back to the default color of white, and it's back. Here right over here is a transparency. 0 means no transparent, and 100 means fully transparent. So I'm going to increase them gradually so you see it as it goes. And since it's, highlighted, look, all you see is this invisible prim right here. See, as I move it, you can't see it. Well, say for example, you're like, oh crap, I can't find it. Oh no, what did I do? Well, guess what? You lost it. Oh no, I lost it. I can't edit it. I screwed up. Well, there's two tricks you can do. Control-Alt-T, and now you see your invisible prim right here. Now you click it, and then you can make your transparency back to 0 so you can see your prim. Or if you want to change it to slightly opaque or slightly invisible, that's fine. And then, because everything is red here in World, because I did Control-Alt-T, you're seeing the invisi prims, okay? So you do Control-Alt-T again, and the red's gone, okay? Now you can do the glow. Say for example you're a raver like me, and you want to make them glow. Well, the only way you're going to be able to see that is full bright. Let me take the glow completely off and put my world settings. Sorry about that. I'm still getting used to firestorm again, so. Okay, you see how it's really bright? Because I put the brightness on. Now, this is the brightness is back off. This is where you've picked that at. Brightness on, brightness off. Wax on, wax off. Alright? Okay, now I'm going to show you glow without the bright. Now, glow doesn't really do too much depending on your graphics settings. Okay? And then put the full bright on, and then put the glow on. Some people who have graphics, this will be completely white. When I'm on Phoenix, it'd be extremely bright. Okay? And you don't want to do too bright, and you need to make sure that the glow on anything when you have full bright is no more than 0.02. Not 0.2, that's like 20%. We're at 2% glow instead of 100%. And that's kind of nice where you want to bring out colors in a picture or a sign or a particular part of your texture of your item you're trying to join together. Alright. I'm going to take this glow off because it drives me insane on this particular viewer. The mapping, you want to keep it as default for now while you're beginning. Shininess will change the way this looks. Right now it's none, and you see these textures inside of it. Okay? When you change it to low, it kind of changes it. Kind of makes it slightly shiny. Then you change it to medium. I have to change it manually. There we go. And then high. It becomes very, very shiny otherwise. But on this particular viewer, for some reason I'm just not seeing it. But on Phoenix, I definitely can see it. And then you have over this tab, the Bumpiness tab, none, brightness, darkness, wood grain. You have different types of bumpiness or extra textures that can be placed on top of your actual texture. I call it a secondary texture or texturing and not bumpiness. It can be helpful if you're making like a path and you kind of wanted to make it appear like it's bumpy, but it's really not. It's really a smooth texture. It gives it a really nice, interesting feel to your build depending on what you're building. Repeats per face here. This is like, say for example, you're applying a texture and you want to make it repeat so many times. This will make it go horizontally, like this way, left and right, and vertical is up and down. Okay, and you can say for example it's not correct on your item, you can actually rotate it. And then repeats per meter uh, is very nice. Depending on the texture, you can make things look amazing. And then the texture offset. This is like, say for example, things are too close to the edges of your build. Let me see if I can find a texture. Hold on. And I apologize. I'm going to my inventory. I don't have much in this, so I'm going to apply. Okay, I have no idea what this is, so if it's a naked chick, I apologize. Ah, close enough. Alright, I'm going to apply this texture. Just see how I'm holding and shifting and how that little box it's there with my cursor. Drop it in there and then this whole thing changed. Remember I told you once you do that it changes for all of it? Okay. Now you'll see the difference below. At least you should. Well, not on this viewer. It's not forgiving. Alrighty. Okay, what was I doing? Oh yeah, I was showing you textures. See, I'm moving it back and forth. Okay. Now, I was showing you the offset. Okay, the horizontal told you it's left to right, and the vertical is up and down. But this is for the texture that's actually on the item itself. Okay, so watch the texture. Okay, I had to zoom in on it for you. See how it changed right here? I'll do it again. See how it changed again? This is the horizontal. Alright, I'm going to put this back down to 0. And this is the vertical. This is great if you want to do the repeats per face. This is repeating per face. See, I just made it horizontal, like I made it look like a different texture. Well, wait till I do the vertical. Oh, it reset itself. Phooey heads. Okay, I'll put it back to 8, and then you can manually set these to 8. And so now it looks like little mini pictures on top of the box, like 8 and 8. So it's like 8 per face. Ah, my daughter's here. Hold on, let me say hi to her. Yeah, I told her doing a tutorial for YouTube. She's on. She's been late. Alright, I'll tell about the way here. I'm gonna put the world setting back to May. Alright, and this is another section. And say for example you wanted to put an item set here, you would drag it right in here and permissions in there. The same permissions as you want to sell it. Alright, now I'm going back to the old tab and go back to my tab, and I'm going to back at 1-1, just easier. This is just to show you guys. And with the offset back to 0 default. Oopsie, manually type it 0. This is my wonderful daughter, Kira. Now, there's a couple techniques on top of your item source. Okay. Then you see the pie, you edit. And you'll see errors again. Well, hold your and click mouse and then drag. See, I just copy. Made a copy. Now, buy them. This one I buy itself really. But I want both of these. Click on one. The trick is click on one, and then shift again, and then right click again. And then you can go to the top to the menu, scroll all the way down, do Control and together, and just click this link. See how one is blue? Okay. That's how you join. Remember how I was telling you guys how I was only be able to move the one? Well, now I'm moving two at the same time. Now how you link. Okay, now it's highlighted. Show you in the General tab. On the viewer, walked, selected, land impact 2. And it's prim, see 1 here, 2 here. But it's one object. Okay? See the build behind me, this castle? Building is 504 prims acting as one object. Okay? Well, that is how you do this. That's how you join it. You can make hairs, join them together, learn how to do tiny prims, make flexible things, pretty things. You can just use your imagination. You guys can do it. And if you have contact Lishajoya, that's Lishajoya, the last 7 Haven, when I'm in World, or you can contact me on my alt if I'm here in World. So this is my tutorial, and I hope you guys